Do you know what things you should do if an EMP happens? Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today I want to talk about 10 things that we should do immediately if an EMP happens. So an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse. Most people have heard lots about this. It can happen naturally. It can be man-made by shooting off a nuke high up. It could definitely send off an EMP that could cripple an entire country, a continent. It could be as small as a few states, but it could be an entire country all at once. And I think it's really important for us to think about what this is going to look like and how are we going to handle this. This is definitely a possibility. There has been talk about other countries having the capability to do this really easily, and it is a really quick way to take a country down. So I think that being prepared for this and having a few ideas of what we can do in case this happens can be really helpful for us. So the first thing that I would want to do is get home. If I am not home, I want to get home as soon as possible. So I am just going to try to get my car there if I can. And if my car is not running, I'm going to grab that emergency bag in the back and I'm going to take it with me. You should have a go bag in your car, get home bag, whatever you want to call it, and just to help you get home. Hopefully you're not that far and it won't take a super long time, but you're going to want to get home as soon as possible. And the second thing is you should have some emergency money in that go bag. Maybe not a lot, but a little bit. I would pick up supplies. If there's any place on the way that has supplies, water, toilet paper, batteries, whatever it is that you think you could use, I would grab those. Even no matter how much I had stockpiled, I would grab it, because very quickly things are just going to be wiped out of the stores and you're not going to be able to get it. So even if it's put you over the top for how much you need, you'll have that and you'll be able to barter it later on, because an EMP is most likely going to turn into a very long-term emergency. Number 3, as soon as you get home, I would check for electrical fires. An EMP fries all those electronics. There's a good chance they can start a fire. Make sure that, there's nothing smoldering, your wiring, your TVs, anything that was plugged in, any of those electronic things. You want to look at those and make sure that there's nothing that's going to combust or anything like that, because once, when that happens, and especially if you're there, you're more likely to catch it sooner. And, you want to check for those type of things. You do not want your home to burn down. Once you've gone through and checked for fires, number 4, I would check all of my electronics. What's working, what's not working. Hopefully you have got a few emergency supplies in a Faraday bag or a Faraday cage, whatever it is that you have. That is going to protect them from an EMP, and you will be able to have, hopefully you've got some communication device in there so you can contact other people, or a radio should be in there, one of those little hand cranked radios. You should have one of those. I'll put a link to a Faraday bag down below. If you don't have one, you can get them fairly affordable. And some of your emergency supplies, especially things that you don't use every day, I would keep in there. A flashlight, those emergency things that you really would want when the power goes out for an extended period of time. So having, just a set of stuff that is really going to be crucial is important. So checking on those electronics and making sure what's working and what isn't. Number 5, fill up any container you have with water as soon as possible. In the event of an EMP, most likely your place where you get water from, the filtration system is not going to work. That can go down, and over a long period of time, after a while, you could lose any water that's accessible from there as well. So it may not be able to get pumped out. So you want to make sure that you have got as much water as you can. Fill up the tub, the sinks, buckets, whatever you have, any kind of container. Don't drink the water though, because that water may not be purified. The purification system may be down where they treat it. And you know, you want to make sure to treat that water first, boil it, purify it, whatever you got to do to it to make sure it's safe for you and your family before you drink it. Number 6, turn that radio on. You want to find out what exactly is going on. How did this EMP happen? Was it nuclear? Was it a solar storm? What exactly happened? It's going to help you decide what you need to do. You may have to, if it was a nuclear, you may have to take some radiation treatments. Hopefully you've got some of that at home. The potassium iodide is helpful. There are a bunch of different things that you can do. And depending on how it happened, it could determine what you need to do for your next steps. Definitely. You also have to decide, is it safe to stay there where you're at? If you are in the middle of the city and chaos is sure to come to your door, then should you bug out, or are you going to stay and bug in? That's going to have to be a choice that each person makes, and it's going to be different for everyone. I think bugging out is the absolute last resort, but I also think that it's important to be prepared for that, because if it's not safe to stay, that way you've got a plan and you can get out of Dodge and be safe. Number 7, if you were at home when this happened, get out there and check your car. Is your car working? If it's working, hide it. People are gonna want a car. They're gonna come looking for it. Number 8, start rationing your food right away. Take inventory and start rationing. You want to eat all of that perishable food first. Go through the refrigerator, the freezer. Make sure, you know, you don't want to lose that food. So ration the food off and make sure that you're able to eat it. You do not want to lose all that. If you have to start a fire outside and can off a bunch of meat that was in the freezer, then you may have to do that. If you're in the city, that's going to be a much more difficult thing to do. But if you're out in the country, you may be able to pull that off and preserve that meat before you lose it. And number 9, because this is going to be a long-term emergency if this happens, you want to get outside and dig a couple of holes. You're going to want one for a toilet, and you're going to want one for your trash. You are going to have to dispose of that stuff. Even though you've got a bucket in the house, your emergency toilet in the house, you're going to have to get rid of that somewhere. So having a hole somewhere is a wonderful way to dispose of that. And also your trash. You're going to want to be able to get rid of your trash. If you leave it around outside, people will go through it and figure out what you've got, or it will attract mice and varmints and rodents and all kinds of problems. So you're going to want to be able to dispose of that, whether it's a can and burn it outside or bury it in the ground, whatever. You want to set that up right away. And number 10, make adjustments to your home security. If you have got to board up windows, doors, fix any weak spots, anything like that, get those done as soon as possible. Once you get through those other steps, I think you want to make sure that you've got your home as secure as possible, especially if you're bugging in. You are going to want to keep you and your family and all of your supplies safe. So if you've got to board up windows, do that. Doors, fix weak spots, you know, anything. Add solar lights outside that you have and never got a chance to put them out. Get those things done right away. I think in the event of an EMP, it can definitely be catastrophic and can collapse everything. And we've got to be prepared for this, because there's so much going on in the world today that really anything could happen at any moment, and I honestly would not be surprised. Any second it can happen. So we really need to get things in order so we know what to do, put in a list, steps to take, what to follow. Keeping that list in your wallet can be extremely helpful. We want to stay calm and not freak out and be able to get through these events. So even if you have to write a list down for what you think you need to do that. Carry it in your wallet. It's not going to hurt. A little slip of paper, just, you know, a couple of steps, even these 10 steps. But it'll help you get through in a calm manner and know what to do without panicking and getting all upset. And when we panic, sometimes we freeze, sometimes we freak out. Staying calm is the best thing for us and our families. I just wanted to share these 10 steps that I think are crucial after an EMP. I think they should be done immediately, and to make sure that you and your family are going to be okay. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.